Ryan Sassano, and Sean Hall will throw up the toss, and we are underway.
Here we go.
A few moments ago, Ed Nixon off the air made Sean Hall feel old. Said, you probably called one of my games. Sean's got a baby face. It looks like this could be his first season, but it's not.
Right.
None attacking early, missing,
take.
but a nice tip in from Levi Stockard, who picks up where he left off in the Bahamas.
It's really good to see Nunn come out and be aggressive. I always think that he could have been got more shots up during the Bahamas, and he's really starting to find himself.
It really is. The team played some really good games. Let's see if that carries over here early. And we talked about in the open, this Camels team that comes in and Fighting Camels played really well at Cameron Indoor, which is not an easy place to play. As we know, there's a turnover. That's one of the things they don't do, Ed. They don't usually turn the ball over, but that's at VCU pressure.
Right. VCU has forced a lot of teams into uncharacteristic turnovers. The defense is in your face all night.
We'll talk more about this Fighting Camels program, but there's a very local flavor to it for sure. And there's a turnover from Stockard to VCU. Jordan Whitfield back in the starting lineup after missing a couple games. Moves over to Calero.
And the offense that Campbell runs is very familiar to VCU.
No doubt. McCullough for three. Austin McCullough from the corner buries the three. So the first points for the Camels, and that streak is now 280 straight games with at least one three-pointer. Matter of fact, last time they didn't have a three-pointer was back in 2012 on this day. So it's been a long time since they played a game without hitting a three.
And to think about it, that was one of the keys to the game. Mike Rose said he wanted to limit their threes.
We got a foul off the ball at VCU. It's going to be Hassan Ward with his first. The Ward with the screen. So the Camels will get the inbound.
Was he moving on that screen? Did they call him for the roll?
Yeah, it looks like that's what they got him for. Again, looking at these Fighting Camels, Jordan Whitfield is bringing it up with the pressure on him. Had been out for a couple of games. Back in the lineup, Ricky Clemens swinging it over to Cedric Henderson Jr. Feeds the post and swinging the ball, moving it nice, and Whitfield gets an open look, and he hits another three. So that's 2 threes here early for the Camels.
Great ball movement by Campbell. The ball moves side to side, inside and out.
Vince Williams III kicks it over, throws it over the head of Keyshawn Curry, and it's one of the things Mike Rhodes has discussed. Turnover percentage has been driving him crazy, and that's one of those turnovers that the coach does not want to see.
Correct. Another unforced turnover.
24% rate this season for VCU. Mike Rhodes wants that around 17%, and right now, not really this kind of start with 2 early ones here.
And maybe they just need to warm up.
Great feed by Carolero to McCullough, who gets fouled in the post, and he'll be shooting 2 after the call goes on Hassan Ward, so he's going to have to sit down quickly here with 2 early fouls.
And Carolero is a very talented player. He can do a little bit of everything out there on the court, and as you see, his passing is premium. Yeah,
high post feeder, really runs the offense, initiates the offense for this team, and you saw it there. And McCullough misses the free throw. He's only been to the line 4 times this season, and he's only 50%. We're going to see Mikal Brown-Jones here early. He usually is the first sub for VCU, but he's really got to be it tonight, as we got 2 fouls in this afternoon already on Hassan Ward. Carolero leads the team in assists, averaging about 4 a game, and there's a 1 of 2 for McCullough, stays in the season average from the free throw line. So early 7-2 lead for the Fighting Camels. Booze Creek, North Carolina, about 30 minutes south of Raleigh. Nice move by Curry, but he can't finish.
Great attack. Got to finish at the rim.
Again, you see Carolero bringing it up, goes behind the back. Stockard's out on the floor, guarding him tightly.
Look at him.
The spin move and kicks it up. Beautiful pass. McCullough, though, quickly closed in on. Back
Great
to Carolero, and a little reverse layup in 2. Boy, Campbell's running some offense here in the early going.
Great move. He looks like Draymond Green, but with a little more offense.
He's definitely got a handle, doesn't he? Vince Williams kicking it over to Curry. That's what Mike Rhodes wants to see. Feed it into Stockard. He goes off the glass, but he can't finish. They want touches for Stockard. They want that ball to go on the inside.
And you got to be happy with it. That's a great move. Just got to finish it.
So Henderson Jr. being guarded with Vince Williams Jr. McCullough gets double team, kicks it over to Calero, gets fouled. Ooh, that was a tough one. And that was on Vince Williams Jr., his first. You can hear some of the Siegel Center faithful behind us don't like that call, Ed.
It's a tough call, but I believe he did get him on the wrist.
Stockert's going to sit down as well, as we're going to see Jalen Deloach for the first time today, the freshman out of Savannah, Georgia. Mike Rhodes really likes the way Deloach has been playing. Said he'd actually like to see him be a little bit more aggressive offensively.
Right.
Whitfield looked like he almost walked there, but great defense. Oh, they're going to say last touch by VCU. It looked like it went off of Whitfield.
Great defense. I still don't want him getting all the way into the paint.
Let's get another look at this, because it sure looked like it hit his leg, unless they're saying it hit Nunn last. First of all, he took 3 steps. I guess that was close. Last touch by Nunn. Nice backdoor pass and layup is good by Clemens, and we got Body or Watkins, which obviously are both hurt right now. But this team in particular, Campbell, was interesting. He wanted on the schedule because of the style of offense they play, which you notice is very Richmond and Davidson-like, and there's a huge Richmond connection on this coaching staff with Kevin McGeehan, who is a former Spider associate head coach, was there a long time before going down to Campbell. There's a miss from Brown Jones.
And Campbell does a lot of Richmond action, a lot of backdoors, a lot of passing from the top of the key. You just have to stay. You have to stay connected to your man and get out to the shooters, and it makes it tough to do.
Carolero trying to post up Deloach. Nice move, misses though, and rebound fought for. Wow, McCullough wanted it, but now there's a foul on. Hey boy, Keyshawn Curry wanted to throw that thing down, but he stopped himself. Good job by Curry to break in there and steal that away, because that was a 50-50 ball.
And Keyshawn Curry makes plays on both ends, and he's going to get his hand on a lot of balls. And offensively, he's going to attack very hard and slash to the rim. Hopefully, he can make some plays for others.
Brown Jones is going to get called for using that elbow. I think that off arm.
That's a tough call again.
He's not happy. He's really frustrated by that call, as is Mike Rhodes. We can see Marcus Sahonis check in the game. Also, Nick Kern for the first time, as Nunn's going to take a seat.
This may be what
Mikael Brown-Jones.
This may be what VCU needs. Nick Kern always comes into the game to bring us a lot of energy on the defensive end and offensive end. So let's see what he can do.
Boy, the referees are not making any friends here in Richmond. I don't know if they were planning on staying for dinner or not. VCU fans not too pleased so far with what they've seen with the whistles. It's good to have fans back, though. I mean, a year ago, we didn't get all this.
Yeah, I remember being in here with no fans. And all I can really think about how much the fans would love Bones Highland.
Absolutely. Last year was so much fun, and it's a shame they didn't get to be here in person outside of, what, 200, I think it was. 250 was capacity. Well, only 4 on the clock. Henderson's going to pull for a long 2, and he buries it. Wow, late in the clock, but you'll see this Campbell team effectively run offense up till the last second on the shot clock, as they did there.
Yes, they will. That was a great pull-up. And it was okay, defended okay, but that's a great shot by Henderson.
13-0 run for Campbell since VCU scored the opening 2 of this game. VCU's drought is almost at 5 minutes now. Sahonis gonna pull up for a 3, and that's gonna be way off the mark. That was not the shot he wanted, but he kind of had to hurry. There's only about 4 on the clock.
Yeah, that was definitely not the best shot. Great pass again.
There's that backdoor cutting. Wow, very impressive offense so far. That's Messiah Thompson with a reverse layup. So the VCU we saw down to the Bahamas, unfortunately, is yet to check in here at Siegel Center. So 15-2 early going. Deep 3 from Vince Williams, and that's not going to go. It's going to be short.
Yeah, I think VCU needs to get something going towards the rim to maybe get on the free throw line and slow their pace down.
Carolero in the post. Deloach on him tightly. Really using that pivot foot. Wow, that seemed like a tough one, but he's going to get bailed out there with the foul on Deloach.
With players like Carolero, what you want to do is stay down on your feet. He's going to pivot, he's going to twist, he's going to turn, but he's not the most athletic guy, so he's not going to feel comfortable shooting over the top. So that's what you want to force him to do.
Something going on with the net. They're trying to fix it to get one of the Carolero. He's done everything here tonight, including fixing the net. So just to kind of emphasize that Campbell's staff that has the, McGeehan was at Richmond under Moody from 2005 to 2013 before coming down to Booze Creek and taking the job where he's had a lot of success. And he brought his staff with him, Peter Thomas and also Kevin Smith, Kenneth White. Former Richmond players on that staff as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I do remember playing some of the guys.
Yeah, it was right in your time. You would have played against them. And, of course, Coach McGeehan thought you were at VCU for 8 years, he said. He seemed like he just remembered playing you every year.
I guess when you get playing time, that's the effect.
See if VCU can get something going on this offensive possession. They get it into Stockard. They want to do this. Nice bucket from Stockard. Levi Stockard had such a good tournament in the Bahamas. Gets a big 2 there.
Right, he likes to dribble right and spin back to his left hand.
But answering is Henderson for 3. Cedric Henderson Jr. We said the Campbells came in here battle tested, and they look like they're up for the challenge here early, running away.
Yes, sir.
Trying to run away with this thing, and that's going to be a foul on the post. So now you're seeing the emphasis to get the ball into Stockard.
And I think that'll be best. It'll slow the game down a little bit. We can once he gets a little bit some more scores, we can get into that press and really try to impact and put our defense on the line.
You know, Stockard was 12-4 down in the Bahamas for the season. He's just under 7 points a game, about 3.5 rebounds. And the free throw line, he goes for 2.
I tell you what, when I first heard that Stockard was going to be coming to the VCU program, I spoke with some of the coaches on the team, and they informed me that he might be the first option or the second option last year. And we just haven't seen the best of him, and I'm hoping we can get that here on out.
Well, they'd say he needs touches. He wants touches. He knocks both his free throws down. Something's really done a good job. And VCU as a team has not shot it well from the line this season, only 61%. But Stockard has really found himself a rhythm there at the free throw line where he's 77% of the season. Actually a little higher after those 2 makes. So Thompson breaks the press, gets it over to Clemens. Campbell also with Lucane in the game for the first time. Number 23, Joshua Lucane. He's got the ball in the post right now with Stockard on. Lucane trying to back in Stockard.
Stay down.
Nice defense from Stockard.
As you can see, if you stay down, it's harder for them to score.
Sahonis wanted to get that one up, but defense closed out quick. Back to Sahonis, who's attacking, driving, reverse layup.
Great move by Tsunami Sahonis.
Wow, Marcus Sahonis, look at that English in the ball too.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Cuts it to a 12-point game.
And this is how VCU starts going. It starts on the defensive end.
Clemens really is getting the best of Curry's best defense. I should say. Thompson, a little hesitation into the lane. Kicks it out to McCullough. Now 6 on the clock. They got to hurry. Long 3, and that's going to be short. Rebound Stockard. Vince Williams Jr. going to get it to Curry for an open look at 3. That's going to be at the back iron. Kern with the rebound. Loses it on the way up.
Who wants it?
Kern gets it back. Kicks it out to Sahonis. Oh, Sahonis, kind of one of those 50-50 passes that Mike Rhodes has been talking about. Turns it over. There's 2 defenders there. It was a tough pass to thread.
Right.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers gets that in there. I don't know. Mahomes. And that's going to be a charge. Good defense for VCU.
For shots.
Yeah, got some paint points on the last few possessions, and with Levi Stockard starting to get going, he's got 6 of the 8 points for VCU so far. Big possession here again, going into Stockard, uses a left-handed scores. That is 8 points for Levi Stockard.
And I was looking, he's going to have that opportunity to score all night long. In the words of the great Shaq, barbecue chicken.
Well, look, it's good to see that it's transferred over for the Bahamas, because Mike Rhodes jokingly said to us, maybe I'll bring some sand in if we need to. Whatever it is, I want that Levi, and they've gotten it early. They've also delivered him the ball in the post.
Right. At the beginning of the season, it was an issue of our guards not being able to feed him.
Got to feed the big guy. There's Vince Williams with the steal. There's that VCU defense turning it up, trying to cut it into single digits.
There we go.
Jaden Nunn is checked in for 2.
And this is how VCU usually works. Their defense leads to a lot of their offense.
Jaden Nunn, who had 21 and 8 against UConn in that overtime loss the last game in the Bahamas. So Jaden Nunn is feeling better. Looks really good over there as well.
I tell you what, I don't think any coach wants to lose their starting point guard. But however, I think this is going to be very beneficial for VCU down the road to have Jaden Nunn get these important minutes and get their starting point guard Ace Baldwin back very soon.
1 on the clock, and it's a prayer thrown up and hits the front iron. So Nick Kern, though, gets a rebound for VCU. Whitfield just had to throw that thing up before the clock expired. Nunn thought about it. He's going to pull it back out. Vince Williams Jr. with a smaller man on him. He falls, though. They pulled the chair out from under him. Sahonis picks up the loose ball, and he's going to lay it up and in. So Sahonis with 4 points off the bench. And now the lead is down to just 6.
Basketball is a game full of runs. So just put your seatbelt on, be ready for the ride. Oh, great defense by Nunn.
Nunn again steals it, and there's going to be a foul on the floor. Yeah, that was dangerous, too.
Yeah.
Nunn came up okay. So Campbell had a lead as big as 16. That's been cut to 6. And as you mentioned, the defense turning into offense. Here it is, Vince Williams Jr. with a steal. And then on the break, finding Nunn.
I'm willing to bet that Vince Williams gets a charge this game.
Usually does. It's usually a really safe bet. Now DeLoach is checked in for Levi Stockard, who sits down. You got Kern, Stockard, Vince Williams Jr., Sahonis, and Nunn out there right now for the Rams. And tipped up after the miss by Sahonis, but good rebound by Carolero, who's been everywhere tonight for the Campbells. He was out for a while, but now he's back in after this run took place.
Exactly, and if I'm Campbell, I'm going right back to him.
Thompson, probing. Carolero thought about the 3. Instead, he dribbles in. Nice dish.
Great pass.
Perfect
Great pass.
Cedric Henderson Jr. for the easy 2.
He might be the key to their team. Carolero is such a good player and such a good passer.
He's making the playmaker.
He's making a lot of plays for his teammates, making them get easy buckets.
Nunn attack.
Great
Gets
dime.
over to DeLoach. DeLoach for 2. Yes. That's what Mike Rose wanted to see from DeLoach. Finish at the rim. Get opportunities at the rim. VCU using that height advantage in the post. This is a 6-point game once again. 22-16. Fighting Campbell's on top. Clemens driving, loses it for a second. Gets it out. Thompson now at the top.
That full court pressure, it may not show up in the first half, but the second half, it really weighs down on the guards.
Vince Williams with another steal off one of those backdoor attempts. Sahonis for 3. Oh, off the back, upside iron. But DeLoach with the rebound. DeLoach trying to go back up with the pivot foot off the glass and 2.
That
lead down to 4 now. VCU really getting after it on the boards and getting some paint points and brought themselves back to a 4-point game after being down by as many as 16.
And forcing turnovers.
Oh,
there we go.
From Kern.
Now I wonder what kind of offense Coach McGeehan has drawn up for them. They've been struggling on offensive end. Let's see if they can get an easy bucket.
I would think it would start with Carolero, this guy right here, number 12 with the ball in his hands, which he is. Now he's going to attack. Stops, nice pass. The cutter, Henderson in 2.
Great, another pass from Carolero.
And again, that Richmond influence in the offense, you see it. This is why Mike Rhodes, especially for some of the younger players, wanted to face a team that played that style. We're going to see it in conference this year. Nunn for 3.
He is going to be really good. He's capable. He can do everything on the court. He plays defense hard. He has a chance of being a VCU great.
Leader in steals this year as well. Jaden Nunn's got 5 early points for VCU, and it is now a 3-point game. So VCU found some rhythm here after getting down by 16 early. Thompson is going to attack. Really quick throws behind that. Carolero's going to step into a 3, and he nails it. Well, he's a solid player, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Carolero from Spain, averages just under 10 points a game. Team's leader in steals and blocks as well.
Oh.
Almost a turnover by VCU. DeLoach saves the possession, and now they're going to say a reaching foul, I believe, on Thompson. So Thompson gets called for the foul, but just finished up on Carolero for a second. Beyond the arc, he's, believe it or not, coming into the game, he was only 2 of 12.
Wow.
From 3. It's hard to believe because his stroke has looked really good today.
It does. And I can't talk enough about how well-rounded he is as a player. He can do everything out there.
And again, Mike Rhodes said, hey, this is the guy who's going to initiate their offense. And the stat sheet shows that during the season. And then you watch him, and he can definitely initiate some things for him. Stockard in the post misses. Brown-Jones, and then a rebound by Vince Williams. Really good job by VCU in the glass.
Right. They should really take advantage of that. It seems like Campbell's having a hard time keeping them off.
Yeah, we know VCU's had issues on the boards as well. I mean, you think of that game that they lost here against Wagner. After that, you know, they went old school rebound drills in practice. And there's Carolero again.
He's giving it to Stockard right now, any way he wants it.
And we saw how well they rebounded against, you know, Vanderbilt. You know, came back, they responded from there. And, you know, had other moments where they've, you know, struggled rebounding, but this today has been a really strong one so far. There's Stockard again with the putback. No, it doesn't go. And Carolero pulls it down for Campbell, trying to extend the 6-point lead.
You know, there was an ODU back when I was playing. They kind of remind me of how VCU is playing right now. Our offense really doesn't start until we get a miss.
Yep, that's true. That was the miss offense back in the days. The Blaine Taylor teams. Carolero feeding it. Nope, nobody's home, and that's going to be a rare turnover.
Oh, Henderson took a dive. Gotta love the effort, though.
Yeah, he tried to get to it, didn't he? But he almost hurt himself. That's 5. You know, make that 6 turnovers for Campbell. Again, they don't turn it over much. Take another look at this. There's Henderson going for it. Whoa, and then he goes over the scores table, and luckily nobody was harmed.
Good to see he's okay.
Yeah, don't try that at home. Good hustle. This Campbell team have come here to play. A nice defense from Carolero as he knocks it away, even though it looked like Stockard in a really good position.
Yeah. I thought that could have been called a foul.
Now, Mikel Brown-Jones is going to get a look at Carolero defensively. He was behind the back, and that was a little too fancy. That's going to be turnover number 7.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Coach McGeehan giving him the hands like, no. He just pointed at himself. He knew he probably shouldn't have done it. But, boy, everything else he's done today has been so good. The junior forward, 6'8", they list him at.
You know, I think he's getting a little fatigued having to guard Stockard down there. Stockard's trying to put the pressure on him.
Yeah, he's got a big weight advantage on him for sure. Jaden Nunn probing, attacking, and tries to kick it back out, but he turns it over. Here comes Henderson the other way. Henderson's going to pull it back out. Being guarded by Curry. He's got a little bit of height advantage on Curry. That's taking him in the post. That's a wild shot. Not going to go anywhere. Good rebound by Stockard. Vince Williams Jr. pushing, attacking. He's going to get fouled and get an opportunity to shoot two. Good attack by Vince Williams. He hesitated a little bit. He thought maybe he was going to pull it out, and then he saw that he had an opening. Let's get another look at Vince Williams drawing the foul here.
Just reading the defense, taking what they give you. Smart play.
So the team fouls have suddenly flipped the other direction. That is the 6th personal now on Campbell. VCU's got 5 because they were collecting them early. Hassan Ward, I don't think we've seen Hassan since the early moments of this game.
I don't think we will. I think VCU's been playing better without his presence as of right now, and he's in foul trouble.
So Vince Williams knocks down the first of 2. Mikel Brown-Jones is going to check out.
You know, I joked Mikel Brown-Jones about being from Philly. Early on in his career, he wasn't playing like he's from Philly. Philly guys are usually tough.
So now VCU, after the 2 free throws, Vince Williams Jr. has been shooting it well from the line. 75% of the year, makes them both. VCU needs all the points this moment. Down by 4. 29-25, where it's down by as many as 16 in this first half. Experienced Campbell team. Henderson throws it across to Thompson. Corner 3. That's going to be off the back iron. Another opportunity, but rebounded by Nunn. It's ahead to Sahonis. To Curry for 3. Curry buries it. Keyshawn Curry, the senior, knocks it down.
And Keyshawn Curry has improved his jump shot from last year to this year. Mike Rose has him in the gym.
He's really been developing from day 1, really, since he got here. So Curry's got it to a 1-point game. VCU fans are getting into it here at Siegel Center. A wild first half, and that's going to be a foul. Go in this entertaining first half. Thompson being guarded by Nunn. McCullough, Henderson getting into the post. Stosic sends it back out to Henderson. He loses it for a second.
Great.
Oh, there's Curry. What a play.
Great play. That's really giving it your all right there.
The senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, selling out. VCU trying to get reorganized in offense, so Nunn will take it out back on the top.
I'm highly impressed by that defensive effort.
There's only 6 on the clock. Sahonis is going to force up a 3, and that's going to be long, and that's going to be ball for Campbell. So they did a good job that time. You notice Milos Stasic, who just checked in. He's 6'10", a little bit of different size there from Belgrade, Serbia, was put in there to just defend Levi Stockard and did a really nice job.
And now that Carrolero's back in the game, you got to go back to Stockard. You got to make him work on both ends of the court, or he'll make you pay.
Yeah, if they want, it looks like that's going to be a matchup they're going to do offense, defense on as much as they can. It's obviously not always going to happen, but he did a really nice job in those few minutes there on Stockard, giving them a different look. Carrolero was wide open. He still missed. What a block by Curry!
What did I tell you? This guy can make highlight plays on both ends of the court.
Sahonis attacking. Oh, 2 to go.
Good move.
Really nice move. Just couldn't finish. And attacking is Clemens, and he loses it on the way up. That's going to be a foul. Bodies all over the place.
The effort these guys are playing with is astonishing.
Yeah, a lot of subbing out going on right now. They're going to get Stockard for the foul, so that's his second. He is the leading scorer for VCU with 2:09 to go in this first half. See if Mike Rhodes opts to keep him in.
What would you do? Would you keep him in?
I'd be tempted to, because you're going on offense. I mean, he's not somebody who draws offensive fouls, right? Because you're going in on offense.
Right.
I'd be tempted to keep him in for this next possession.
Yeah, maybe for the next possession, but I would definitely, I would get him out of there because he's so important to the game.
Ricky Clemens from the free throw line. Lefty knocks down the first, and guess what? He's getting him out of there.
And guess what?
Jalen Deloach is coming in. Oh, the Deloach has been good in the post here so far as well. So Clemens hits the first of 2 to bring the Campbell lead back up to 2 points. They still have gone almost 4 minutes now. Campbell without a field goal, misses the second. I was going to say he's only 58% on the young season in free throw shooting, and it's kind of around the average there. Big possession here for VCU with a chance to either get the lead or tie it. And for the lead here is Nunn, buries it.
Wow. That was with confidence and conviction.
And VCU first lead since it was 2-0, but quickly the other way. Campbell, now Clemens pulls it back out.
I've been saying for as long as anybody will listen, Nunn needs to get as many shots up as possible. And look at our guy.
Carrolero, long step back 2. Wow. That guy is really having himself a day, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I know he was mentioned in the scouting report because the coach mentioned him to us. That's 11 points for Carrolero. Curry falls, so Campbell back up by a point.
This has been one back and forth game.
It really has. After a slow start for VCU, they went on the run, and now Campbell counter-punching after kind of get hit in the mouth here with a big VCU run. Really impressive, as you would expect from, again, a team we mentioned coming in. Battle-tested, played at Marshall, won there, played Duke very tough at Duke. So only 7 o'clock. Nunn's going to pull up. He's feeling it. Nope, that's going to be short. So under a minute now, Campbell with a chance to extend their lead. 32-31. Carrolero, he's had the hot hand. He gives it off to Henderson. Back to Carrolero for another 3 off the iron.
It's to the point now, I think every shot's going in.
I really do. It's almost shocking when Jesus Carrolero doesn't make a shot. So that's going to be Campbell ball, 20 on the clock and 44 seconds here in this first half of play. I'll tell you what, the fans are into it today. I don't know if you're picking up on this, Ed, especially the group behind us. They're, they're letting the refs hear about everything.
Yeah, that's VCU.
It's good. It's good to have it. Thompson attacking. Seemed like he used the off arm a little bit, but play on. McCullough guarded by Williams. Now the switch up. Clemens notices the clock's getting short. 4 on the clock. He's going to drive. He gets by a man, and no, can't finish. Rebound VCU. VCU with a chance for the last shot of the half.
Strong attack. Weak finish.
Vince Williams pulls it back out. There's 16 seconds left. Clock ticking down. Nunn, he's had the hot hand here recently. He's got 8 in the first half. See if Nunn can get some space to get one off. He's got to hurry. Williams is going to have to hurry. 3 for the 3. There's Williams, and that's not going to go. Watch tonight. He's played all 20 minutes of this game as well. Whitfield coming back after missing 2 games was somewhat limited in the first half. Played just 7 minutes. Clemens attacking off the glass, and beautiful bucket there for Clemens. Really good finish. Hassan Ward back in the game. We didn't see much of Ward at all in the first half. Played just 2 minutes in the first half. He got 2 early fouls. See if Ward can kind of get into this game.
I want him to put his imprint on the game on the defensive end. Block some shots, get some rebounds, and catch some lobs.
Well, look, I mean, we've seen how Campbell has had issues with his size. It would be nice to have Ward on the court for an extended period of time. There's a foul, and Vince Williams has a chance to go to the free throw line and get some more points.
Right. I think on the offensive rebounding side, I think Hassan can be very impactful.
No question. And, you know, when you get those 2 quick fouls, you just really get no chance to get in the game. But to the credit of VCU's bench, DeLoach played really well in his place, as did Brown Jones gave him some good minutes. So they really didn't need to go back to him.
Right. And I think having depth like that and getting these young guys minutes early and against a team like Campbell is only going to make you better down the road.
So Williams converts both of them. So Vince Williams perfect from the line this afternoon. And he's got 6 points to go along with his 4 rebounds. VCU get the pressure on, down by a point. Whitfield able to beat the pressure.
How do you feel about winning the first 5 minutes or the first 4 minutes of the half?
I think you're right. I think that's important. You want to get this crowd back into it. You know, it's kind of like quieted down here, obviously, because you've had the halftime, and you know, you got to give your fans a reason to get back into this basketball game as well. Carolero, though, he's whirling.
Hey,
incredible, isn't he?
Patience.
He's just, yeah, great way to put it. Patience. Never panics, and he's got 13. Leads all scorers.
You got to admire guys like that who have great patience.
Into post, but back out to Williams, who steps in for 3. Big-time shot from Vince Williams Jr.
And it's very important that we highlight Levi Stockard being able to kick the ball back out.
Well, it all starts with the touch with Stockard, and that's why Mike Rhodes wants it to go in the post first.
Oh.
So Vince Williams with 5 quick points, and we've got a tie ball game again. There's a loose ball. Curry dives for it, gets it to Hassan Ward.
You got to love it. First to the floor.
Sure was. And it's not afraid of floor burns. Curry now steps into a 3 for the lead. Oh, off the back iron. Here comes Campbell. Clemens attacking again. And this time he can't finish. Rebound Vince Williams Jr. Getting it ahead for VCU. Now he's going to back it out. VCU going to run their half-court offense. Been a much better half-court offense since the last time they were on the home court. That's one thing for sure with these post touches. And this guy here, Jaden Nunnell, he missed that one off the back iron. They're going to throw it ahead to Whitfield, and he's going to get an easy 2. So Campbell back on top.
That was a okay shot selection. But, you know, for VCU's offense and what they're looking to do, they need to get great shots.
Fans pouring, let's go Rams. Down by a couple here. Stockard steps out and hits that off the front iron, but rebound VCU. Again, really doing a good job getting these offensive rebounds.
We need to get some post touches.
Ward for 3. Oh, wow. Off the side.
Wow.
Mike Rhodes' reaction says it all. I think I've seen all 3s from Ward this year, and I've seen 3 of the greatest reactions from Mike Rhodes each time.
It's unnecessary, but here we go with our defense.
Here goes the steal. Vince Williams pushing it ahead. He's going to pull up and he gets fouled, but that's all right. Curry cleans it up.
That worked out exactly how it was drawn up.
It's kind of like in soccer when you say play the advantage, and that's really what it worked out there. Must have been a clean steal, but nonetheless, a lay-in for Curry. So we're back to a tie ball game. McCullough is a good 3-point shooter, but he thought better of it there. Stockard closing out quick. Good job by the big fella.
He did a great job of pulling that ball back down. You don't want to let VCU's defense rush your offense. And that doesn't really benefit Campbell and how they play.
You know, Carolero's got, I was going to say, he's got Ward on him. I'm going to think he might like that matchup with his dribbling. Ward's length, though, does not disrupt Carolero. Nothing disrupts Carolero. He's got 15. And Campbell back on top by 2.
And if I'm VCU, I need to get Levi Stockert back posted up on Carolero, get him some touches to make him work on both ends.
Looks like you have position there, but they do a good job of packing it in. Even though it is a man defense, they kind of like to pack it in a little bit too.
And against VCU, that's pretty smart.
No doubt. Curry's going to get fouled. So Keyshawn Curry takes a pretty tough fall, but he's all right. And he'll go to the free throw line. So exchange of baskets here in the start of this throw line.
And they keep it going.
And they keep it going. Yeah, I don't want to be that, broadcaster jinx guy, so I didn't want to say. But was to say they're keeping it going. And we'll update the numbers after Curry's second.
I'll tell you what.
Boy, that looked good.
Yeah.
8 for 8 to start the game from the line.
Great job. They had to have worked on that when they got back.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are coachable. I think you've seen that about this team in the young season, right? They had a rebounding issue against Wagner. They went to school on that and came out and played the game they played against Vanderbilt. There's a good defensive play by VCU. Whoa, just getting it over.
Don't give up that. Don't give up that.
Yeah, Thompson's not afraid to pull it up from out there. I saw him hit one at Duke earlier this year that was about that same spot. Clemens gets it over to Carolero. He's not going to fall for the fake shot clock chance from the fans. Here comes Curry, though, the other way. Vince Williams Jr. steps into a 3, and he buries it. Vince Williams Jr. for 3. VCU up to their largest lead of 3.
Look at that. Look at that.
12 for Vince Williams Jr. He's had a really good start to this second half. And here's that VCU pressure. Just over the line, Thompson. Whoa.
That's not the shot that Campbell wants right there.
Yeah, Henderson long 2, no go. And Curry pushing it back quickly.
And like I said earlier, VCU welcomes.
But Deloach gets it knocked away, and who's that going to go to? They're going to say last touch by Deloach. Mike Rhodes is furious. It did seem like a lot of contact in the post.
Well,
Rhodes is imploring Sean Hall to overrule.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, he's looking at Sean Hall. He's putting his arms up, yelling at Sean Hall. Let's take another look at this, because it did look like there was a lot of contact in Deloach. He might have just lost it, but I think right here is what Rhodes was mad about on the dive.
Yeah.
Maybe Thompson had hit it.
But that's one of those 50-50, and it's hard to be a ref in that position.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, it is Campbell ball. See if they can take advantage of it. Whitfield on the wing with Deloach on him. Now Carolero.
Let's see what he hit up. Quick kick out. Good deep shot.
Whitfield that's way off the mark. That was probably not the shot Coach McGeehan wanted. He looks a little frustrated over there too with his team.
So like I was saying, VCU's pressure, they're going to force you it seems like they're going to force you into shooting quick shots. However, that 3 you can get at any time in the shot clock. Take your time, set your feet, and go from there.
And again, it's surprising with the patience this offense shows normally in the style they play. They would be suckered into that, but that is exactly what's happened. Here's Williams, another heat check. No, that one's going to be short. And the rebound and the foul, yeah, that's going to be a reach-in as Whitfield goes to the ground, and they're going to get Mikel Brown-Jones.
Another bang-bang play.
Yeah, it was. And, the problem with that one is I think if Whitfield doesn't fall to the ground, there's probably no call, right? They probably just play on, but Whitfield hits the deck, and you're either going to have to call a travel or a foul, and there's a little bit of contact, so you go with the foul.
And VCU is back in this diamond press.
And just getting it across is Thompson. Henderson with the runner off the glass. And that was big for Campbell, ending a 2-minute and 15-second scoring drought. Back to a 1-point ball game.
And that was a great seal by Carolero.
Curry, who are they going to get? That's going to be a blocking foul. The Curry attacking, and he's going to get rewarded for it as Thompson gets called for the foul. They're going to say that was before the shot, it looks like. So Kern's going to check in.
Keyshawn Curry attacking the rim is essential to VCU's success. He's one of the better slashers they have on the team. and he's definitely one of the best athletes they have on the team.
Well, sometimes he just wants to really take off from the foul line and just throw it down over the world. You know?
Yes, he does.
He's got that kind of hop. So, guy's been on SportsCenter top 10 a few times as well for dunks. Sahonis, ooh, dangerous pass, but Curry's able to clean it up.
Those 50-50s.
That was what, yeah. Mike Rhodes called them 50-50s. I almost spit on my coffee when he said that to me a few weeks ago. But he's right. I mean, you see it. It's almost like, you know, a football quarterback throwing it up to his receiver. Hoping to get a PI call.
Great.
Sahonis, but that's right. Deloach cleans it up for 2. You know, Deloach has really put his stamp on this game tonight.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's playing big. He's 6'9", but he's playing a little bit bigger than that.
No doubt. Deloach has got 6 off the bench. VCU back up to a 3-point lead. McCullough hit the first 3 of the game. Not had a whole lot since. Whitfield, the runner, beautiful
Great.
Teardrop. Pretty play for Whitfield. Shot. Back after missing 2 games, Jordan Whitfield looking better here in the second half. A little bit more active than he was to start the game.
And like we said during the break, VCU is not the best teams you want to come back and play off an injury.
Yeah, that's not an easy call, an easy ask. That shows you kind of trust they have in the senior. Sahonis with a runner of his own, but that's off the back iron, and the rebound goes to Campbell. So the Campbell's with a chance to get the lead back. Corner, there's McCullough open, and that's going to be off the iron. But rebound, VCU able to steal it away. Henderson had it for a moment. Here comes Curry attacking, and he's falling, but no, can't finish. Coming the other way. The Camels, great defense from Deloach, blocks it and now gets it. Oh, there's another one of those risk-reward passes.
50-50.
And Whitfield, no, misses it. Well, this is helter-skelter with both teams right now. And
they are going game. That's the kind of offense that VCU would like to run. Inside out, get open shots, and play from there.
There's Carolero again. Stockard on him in the post. Can't get it to go. Good job by Stockard to keep his ground.
Good moves, though. Great fake.
Amazing with the pivot foot, isn't he? I mean, you got to kind of check him. Like, sometimes we'll watch him, like, he couldn't have possibly done that, and he actually does. So that, that's, yeah, it's going to be a push off on Nunn. Extended that right hand.
Oh, that's on Stockard.
On the Stockard, wow, okay. I didn't see that. That was off the ball. I'm watching Nunn, and I thought maybe they got Nunn for doing the extension, which they let go often, so interesting. Yeah, Mike Rose didn't think it was a foul on Stockard either. That's significant, potentially, because that's 3 on Levi Stockard now, with 11 minutes to go. Now he's going to guard Carolero. Really the quarterback of this offense.
Right.
The point forward. He's going to, no, he stopped off the 3. Now he takes it into the easy 2. Look at that backspin he puts on the ball. And Campbell back up by a point, 46-45.
That was a great take.
Really was. Carolero has 17, leads all scorers, also has 5 assists. And there's a VCU turnover as Whitfield hits the ground. Henderson gets it ahead to Clemens. Quickly, the VCU defense, though, gets back.
Great job by fixing the defense in transition.
Yeah, Williams got back there in a hurry. McCullough handles a tough pass there. Clemens attacking. Vince Williams Jr. with a quick hand.
Wow.
Wow, he has been sensational in this half, and he's attacking, can't finish. Stockard gets it, says, I got it. Kern took it from Kern and put it in for 2.
Strong finish by Levi. Great attack by Williams.
Kern thought he had it for a minute. Stockard just pulled it away and said, I got it, freshman. Laid it in. Got 10. I think the VCU bench thought Stockard got fouled.
It was close, but I appreciate the refs allowing these guys to play.
So VCU back up by a point. Got a feeling we might be at this. This might be our game, for the final 9.5 here. Oh, too easy. The pump fake.
But again, Carolero.
Yeah, makes this nice assist there, and Henderson able to finish. That's 6 assists for Carolero to go along with the 17. Kern attacking on the baseline, kicks it out. Curry with the ball fake, and he's going to lay it up and in.
Great ball fake, great attack.
Keyshawn Curry now got 7.
A good balance scoring for VCU.
Actually make that 9. VCU up by a point. I was a little ahead of the score sheet there. So 49-48 VCU. We're at 9-minute mark here in regulation. Carolero back in Stockard. Spin move. Good defense by Levi with 3 fouls. Henderson's going to have to hurry. There's 5 on the clock. Pulls up for 3 and buries it with Vince Williams Jr. in his face.
Great defense, better offense.
Big time shot from Henderson. He's got 16 points now, and it's back to a 2-point Campbell lead. Williams with a nice little back.
Hey, watch your head. Watch your head.
Boy, a little of their own medicine there. Campbell got on the backdoor cut. Wow, what a play from VCU's offense.
To have young legs again.
Like young Ed.
Having his head up and being able to see him cut.
Scott Jackson, Ed Nixon here with you. Had a good game here so far. Very entertaining. 51 all. Got 8 minutes. Just over 8 minutes to go here in regulation as VCU is down by 16 early. Battle back. The game is kind of saw it back and forth here in the second half. Just 4 on the clock. Thompson for a long 3 and buries it. Wow, what a big-time shot for Messiah Thompson.
Big shot. And he got it right on Josh Banks, who just checked into the game.
5'8" junior from Atlanta, Georgia. He's got some range, and he's got no fear, no conscience. And there's the alley-oop and dunk for Hassan Ward. Been waiting to see that. Good dish from Sahonis.
And from what I see, Sahonis and Ward have a great chemistry. Sahonis seems to always find him.
That's a great point. And they got to hurry. They literally get it up with 1 second to go from the half court. So Thompson and the Campbell offense here. Now got 10 on the clock. McCullough penetrates. Quickly the ball swings, and Thompson again with an open 3. This time he misses. Rebound on McCullough. Stripped away by Sahonis. And a new clock for Campbell, but they don't need it. It's
good block
shot by Vince. Here comes Vince ahead. Gets it to Banks, who lays it up and in. Josh Banks, who just checked in with a quick 2.
Great pass by Vince. Good job by Banks running the floor with him.
Literally, Banks just checked into the game. He didn't play in the first half, so he's got his first 2 of the game in his first minute. And there's a steal from VCU.
Somebody go get it.
Big guy, Hassan Ward, putting his imprint here. Banks for 3.
Oh!
Josh Banks spin.
Big shot by Banks.
5 quick points. Wow, Josh Banks off the bench and making an imprint on this one. VCU suddenly on a 7-0 run.
What a luxury for Coach Rose to be able to go all the way that deep into the bench and get effective play.
VCU trying to dig in here defensively, their largest lead of just 4. And there's the hook, running hook, and that's not going to go.
Be careful, we might be in timeout territory if you get a shot right here.
Yeah, Stasic, the big guy, could not get the runner to go. VCU trying to settle in and get a good possession here. Sahonis probing, puts up the runner, doesn't go, and the rebound's going to go to the Fighting Camels. Whitfield sends it across to Thompson. You don't want to leave him open. This time he misses short. Rebound by Nick Kern.
Probably not used to getting that much of an open look tonight.
Across the Banks, is going to pull into another 3, and that one's going to be off the mark, and they're going to get Kern for a push, trying to get to the Roos ball. So we're going to get another timeout on the floor. 5:16 to go here in regulation. VCU has a 4-point lead. And Sahonis finding the big man, Hassan Ward, for an easy 2. You're watching VCU basketball on the Ram Nation Network. Welcome back to Siegel Center. VCU has a 4-point lead thanks in part to Josh Banks off the bench with 5 quick points. Did not play in the first half. Buries at 3, and then here on transition after the Vince Williams block shot. He gives it to Vince, who gives it right back to him, and he gets the easy 2. And Josh Banks giving VCU some good minutes here off the bench as we come out of the timeout. Looks like, once again, Vince Williams Jr. out there. Vince Williams Jr., by the way, has played 34 minutes of this basketball game, which is pretty much every minute of this basketball game.
Right, and he's one of those guys that does everything, from passing to rebounding to blocking to taking charges to communicating, being a leader. He does a little bit of everything.
And again, Campbell, I mean, literally, as the second ticks down to 20, they just get it across the timeline. VCU trying to dig in defensively. Wow, Carolero passing up a 3 opportunity, but gets it across to Henderson. It's only 8 on the clock. Vince Williams Jr. digging in on Henderson. Henderson attacking, and there's going to be a call, and they're going to call a trip on VCU. Is
he going up for that? Are they going to call that a shooting foul on the floor?
I don't think it's a shooting foul, but the significance of it is I believe it's going to be Levi Stockard. No, Jaden Nunn. Okay, no, Jaden Nunn. All right, Nunn got called. That's better exchange for VCU because Stockard's playing with 3 right now. That's going to be Nunn's second. So Clemens is going to come in for Thompson. Thompson came in, knocked down a big 3. Campbell running inbounds play. Actually, good thing Nunn kicked that ball because I think that was going to be an easy 2 for Clemens.
That was going to be easy 2. And as a defender, you have to force him one way. You can't allow the offensive player to choose which way he wants to go.
It looked actually similar to a lot of the inbounds plays VCU runs. We've seen a lot of buckets off inbounds plays under baskets for VCU this season and over the years. So Henderson feeds Carolero, and there's going to be a foul on Kern. And Nick Kern, I believe that's going to be his second, and it is just his second foul. So team foul, that's going to be just team foul 5 for VCU in the half. So still got a couple to give before we get to the bonus.
Right, and I think that was a good foul. I think it was a good foul.
I don't think it was a bad foul either because I think it's an easy bucket otherwise. So 4:37 to go here in regulation. VCU with the 4-point lead. They've been on a 7-0 run over the last 3 minutes. And a steal by Vince Williams again. Vince driving.
Ooh.
Of course, the Campbell fans are probably saying ball don't lie, right?
Right.
I mean, is that
I mean, that's a judgment call. That's a judgment call by the referees.
It's definitely at least an and 1. I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that. It's just a question of is it flagrant and intent. I think anytime a player gets undercut, it's got to be. Stockard's got to hurry with 3 on the clock. Back up to Curry for 3 at the buzzer. And
bang, bang, bang.
Sean Curry with a big-time 3.
And again, Stockard is doing such a great job of kicking the ball out of the post and finding the shooter. One time.
9-point VCU lead. They are on a 14-3 run over the last 4 minutes and 8 seconds.
Look at Vince Williams and his effort. It is amazing. I am really I can't even find the words for it.
He's a 5-tool player.
5-tool.
You know, like if he's a baseball player, I say this all the time, he's a 5-tool player, he does everything. And just to watch him from day 1 when he came on campus to where he is now is really impressive. Vince is hurting too.
He's in pain.
He's definitely in some pain. He's holding on his left side there. He's played every minute of this ball game. He's on McCullough. McCullough's trying to make it work. Campbell needs
and
there's a steal by Curry. Havoc in full effect here. None, the freshman says no. And he's got pressure on him. He gets it up, gets it back from Stockard. So 3:20 to go here. VCU with their largest lead of 9.
And I tell you what, Campbell has to settle down, run their offense.
Curry attacking, and there's going to be a charge.
Easy call.
Yeah, that wasn't easy. He was out of control, and Henderson did a good job setting his feet. Cedric Henderson Jr. Father played at Memphis and played at the NBA. With a really smart play there. So VCU on a 12-0 run right now over the last 4:22. Campbell trying to stop that. And this is a senior team. You know, we're talking about Campbell. They got some seniors in this team they're going to have to lean on here. And the junior Carolero, who's been so good for them. You got to think the ball's going into him here, Ed.
Right. You would think. And they're really struggling to get their offense, get clear looks at the basket right now. VCU has really ramped up the defensive end, and as soon as we say it.
Whitfield for 3 misses, but rebound Henderson gets his shot blocked by who else? Vince Williams Jr. Corner 3, open look, and that's going to be long from Clemens, but the putback by Henderson, no. Carolero tips it above the glass, and it's VCU ball.
Things are just not going Campbell's way right now.
They really aren't. Campbell, wow.
Great effort on the offensive board.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that's an incredible effort down there. But here's a quick Pass ahead to Kern. He's attacking. Kern gets hit in the head. No call. And here comes the Camels. The Fighting Camels the other direction. Whitfield loses it for a minute. Nice backdoor pass to Clemens, who gets denied. Him and Curry obviously coming up big, and Stockard, the super senior. The VCU with possession. And a chance to extend this lead and perhaps put away a very tough Campbell ball club that has come in here and given them all they can handle today. There's a steal. Carolero on the ground, but Nunn gets it back and then throws it away. Ball still loose. Somehow Henderson ends up with it, and he gets fouled and one. Wow, they're going to get Vince Williams Jr. on that one. And Cedric Henderson Jr., he just seems to find the ball, and he gets his 18th point of the game and a chance to make a three-point play and cut the deficit some more.
That was a tough possession for VCU. It looks as if Nunn believes he got hit in the face on the turnover. But again, Campbell has a lot of fight in him, and Henderson is going after these boards, and he's really attacking the cut really hard.
Well, I was about to say, one thing Henderson has not done well this year, shoot free throws. He's only 58% coming in, and he misses that one. VCU's going to pull it out. Again, under 2 minutes now. They've got the possession and a 7-point lead, so still not out of the woods yet are the Rams, who have come into this game with a 2-game losing streak overall.
And look at this.
Home losing streak, and now they turn it over. But Nunn gets it back. The sloppy play there on both sides. Curry's like, relax. Keyshawn Curry telling his teammates.
Everybody take a chill pill. Here we go, another turnover.
Relax there. Here comes Thompson. Back to Henderson. Another bucket from Henderson. Now a 5-point game, and Mike Rhodes.
And I tell you what, here's the deal. I believe that VCU is trying to take advantage of the shot clock, but however, Campbell is applying so much pressure that it'd probably be better for them just to attack.
That's a great point. And you know, one of the things, talking to Mike Rhodes this week, and that's a Campbell 30-second timeout, was he said, in order for us to learn how to win and close out games, we got to stop beating ourselves. And here's 2 examples, these last 2 possessions, of the beating yourselves aspect of the game.
Right. Now it's time for the leadership on the team, which is the seniors, to calm everybody down, run the offense, and get easy buckets and play solid defense.
So 1:23 to go. And look, at some point this season, and maybe in the very near future, you know, Ace Baldwin's going to be back out there, and this is where, granted, he's only a sophomore, but everybody who saw him play last year knows he's got the poise of a much older player.
Right.
And, you know, that's where you like it. But these moments, as Mike Rhodes is discussed a lot in the early part of the season, will only make this team better if they can learn from them.
Right. You have to learn.
So here we go, big possession defensively here for Campbell off the inbound. VCU only up by 5 now. Nunn able to get it across to Curry. VCU wants to be smart with the ball here. Campbell going to try to apply some pressure.
Great job by Campbell fighting through.
They're going to feed the post. Stockard shot, unable to finish. Good defense at the rim from the Camels, who need a bucket here. Whitfield attacking. Kicks it out to Henderson, who's going to pull it for a tough 3. He's going to be way off the mark. And Vince Williams throws it ahead to Curry. Don't know if you wanted to do that, but blocked. And they're going to call.
I thought that was clean.
Wow. They're going to call foul on Henderson. I thought it was clean as well. He really got up. By the way, he closed a lot of ground.
Yes, he did.
To make sure that that wasn't a throwdown.
Ooh, well, he hit him in the face.
Yeah, he got his face. And I don't know if Curry knew he was there, but boy. Curry likes to, as we talked about, just take the house down when he gets a chance.
Yes, he does.
He was ready to do that. He's over there getting a towel to wipe his hands off. Some big free throws coming up here from Keyshawn Curry, the senior. Keyshawn Curry, who on the season has had a pretty good stroke there, but misses the first.
And this is one of the keys to winning the basketball game.
Yep. Free throw shooting, turnovers, a lot of the things that Mike Rhodes has been harping on.
And rebounding. Now, they're doing pretty good in that department. Let's see if he can knock this free throw down.
And he cannot, so it is a 2-possession game. Of course, you have to hit a three for Campbell at some point. But right now, they're just going to take the quick bucket if they can get it. And Whitfield, oh boy, he almost had an and one opportunity there. Instead, he'll have to go to the line and earn it. So with 38 seconds, 38.4 to be exact, and we may need that .4. 63-58.
Coming down the stretch, it may look like that.
Sure looks like it's going to be one of those games. So Whitfield hadn't had a lot of opportunities in the line this year. This is good, though, from Whitfield. Knocks it down. He's only been to the line twice this year, or 3 times now. 3 for 3 on the season.
I'll tell you what, it's been really sloppy play for VCU these last few minutes. Yeah. Turnovers, missed free throws.
Yeah, I think Campbell's gotten a little sloppy too, but they're really gritty. I mean, they keep coming back at you. You're not going to get away with it too easy. They missed 1 of 2. It's a big miss there because now it's a 2-possession game still. Ball stolen away, though, by the Campbells. Back to Clemens, who attacks. Can't get it to go. Carolero, of course, it is now. And he knocks the second one, so it's a 2-possession game. Big time.
Ice in his veins.
From the freshman, Jaden Nunn. Got 10 points in the game. Campbell trying to get it in. They got to hurry. Just get it in. Almost turn it over. Whitfield hurrying up. He's going to pull up for 3, and he misses. Ball's loose. Does Vince Williams get it? He throws it away. Oh, no. Whitfield off the glass. Doesn't get it to go. And ahead, here comes Nick Kern.
Go.
He's going to dribble it out. Going to try to dribble it out, and with 3.3 left.
I'm not a fan of that.
3.3 left.
I've seen games where it's been a 4-point game. You get fouled on 3-pointer, goes into overtime. So I'm going to take the easy 2, and then I'll play safe.
Right, with a 4-point lead. Now again, you know, you just don't touch him at this point. If you miss the free throw, you just stay out of the way, and if they hit an uncontested 3, that's fine. But they got to get it up in a hurry to do it. But yeah, you're right, Kern, you know, he's playing rather safe than sorry, and he misses it. Don't foul, and you just got to stay out of the way at this point if you're VCU. Can they even get a shot off? And that's a